Have you ever noticed someone sitting quietly in nature? Alone? Doing absolutely nothing? No phone, no music, no conversation. Just sitting, watching the trees sway, listening to the wind, feeling the sunlight on their skin. And maybe a question crossed your mind. Why would anyone choose to be alone like that? Or perhaps a deeper one. Why does that scene feel so peaceful, almost magnetic? Because here's the truth most people don't realize. People who enjoy sitting alone in nature aren't escaping life. They are returning to it. In a world that constantly demands attention, noise, and performance, choosing silence is almost rebellious. Think about it. From the moment we wake up, we are pulled into a stream of notifications, expectations, responsibilities. We are always doing, always responding, always becoming something. But what happens when someone decides to just be? Imagine this. You're sitting under a tree. No agenda, no pressure. At first, your mind races. You think about unfinished tasks, awkward conversations, things you said years ago. It feels uncomfortable, almost unbearable. And that's the moment most people leave. But the ones who stay, something different happens. Psychologically, this is where the mind begins to shift from external stimulation to internal awareness. It's called default mode network activation, a state where your brain turns inward, processing emotions, memories, and identity. In simple words, this is when you finally start meeting yourself. And for many people, that's the scariest thing. Because when there's no distraction, no role to play, no audience to impress, who are you really? People who enjoy being alone in nature aren't necessarily antisocial. In fact, many of them understand people deeply. But they also understand something else. That constant social interaction can sometimes pull you away from your authentic self. There's a quiet paradox here. The more connected we become digitally, the more disconnected we feel internally. So these individuals seek balance. Not isolation, but clarity. They sit alone not because they hate noise, but because they've learned to value silence. Not because they lack relationships, but because they want a relationship with themselves. Think about it. When was the last time you sat with your thoughts without trying to escape them? Not scrolling, not talking, not distracting yourself, just sitting. It sounds simple, but it's incredibly rare. And here's another layer to it. Nature itself plays a powerful psychological role. Research shows that natural environments reduce cortisol levels, calm the nervous system, and restore attention. But beyond science, there's something more subtle happening. Nature doesn't judge you. It doesn't expect anything from you. It doesn't rush you. It simply exists and invites you to do the same. For someone who is constantly overwhelmed by expectations, this becomes a form of emotional refuge, a place where they don't have to perform, a place where they can just exist without explanation. And maybe that's why it feels so healing, because deep down, every human being is tired of pretending. But let's go deeper. Why do some people crave this solitude while others feel uncomfortable with it? The answer lies in emotional awareness. People who enjoy sitting alone in nature often have a higher tolerance for introspection. They are willing to feel what others avoid. Sadness, confusion, uncertainty, even emptiness. And here's the paradox. What feels like loneliness to one person feels like freedom to another. Because loneliness says, I am missing something. But solitude whispers, I am enough. It's a subtle but powerful shift. These individuals don't sit alone because they are empty. They sit alone because they are full of thoughts, emotions, questions, and a desire to understand life beyond the surface. They observe. They reflect. They notice things others rush past. The way sunlight filters through leaves, the rhythm of their own breath, the silence between sounds. And in that silence, something interesting happens. They begin to hear their inner voice more clearly. Not the loud, anxious voice that worries about the future, but the quieter one, the honest one, the one that often gets drowned out by daily noise. Have you ever wondered why some of your best ideas come when you're alone? Why clarity appears when everything else disappears? That's not a coincidence. It's because creativity and self-awareness thrive in stillness. When the mind is not overloaded, it starts connecting dots, processing emotions, and forming insights. This is why many thinkers, writers, and creators throughout history have valued solitude. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people avoid this state not because they don't have time, but because they're afraid of what they might discover. What if they don't like what they find? What if they realize they've been living on autopilot? What if the silence reveals truth they've been ignoring? So they stay busy, distracted, entertained. But those who choose to sit alone in nature They choose courage over comfort. They are not running away from the world. They are preparing themselves to face it more honestly. Because when you understand yourself, you stop seeking validation from everything outside. You stop chasing noise just to feel something. You become grounded. And maybe that's the real beauty of it. It's not about the trees or the wind or the quiet. It's about what those things awaken within you. A sense of presence, a sense of truth, a sense of coming home to yourself. So the next time you see someone sitting alone in nature, don't assume they are lonely. Maybe they've discovered something most people are still searching for. And maybe, just maybe, there's a part of you that wants to sit down beside them. Not to talk, but to finally listen.